We've all seen slow websites, and it's really frustrating when you're the designer of a website that isn't loading or performing very well. Not everybody else does. And the risk of having a slow loading website is that it's going to impact your search results. It's going to affect the user experience. And Google prioritizes Google experience for the visitors to your site. And so if your site isn't performing well, let's say the page actually doesn't load very quickly, you only have a fraction of a second before people decide whether they've come to the right place or not. And they may not have the patience to wait for your website to load. It's a good idea to do some testing, to test on different platforms and locations, different devices, cell phone, try different locations around town or the areas where your prospects really are, just to see how your website performs. But one of the number one reasons why the websites are loading slowly, besides the overhead of the system you're using, and for example, WordPress, it has a lot of code. There's a large system underneath WordPress that's weighing it down. That affects performance. There's components that you don't need. And so it's a good idea to streamline, removing the parts that you don't actually need, but also reducing the image sizes. The file size of your image the irony is that none of that impacts the sellability of the item on the site. That comes down to your marketing and the quality of your copywriting. But the images, they actually slow down the experience, and it can be costing you the sales and costing you the traffic and ranking. So try to optimize, find a good codec and a tool like Photoshop where you can actually export for the web and you can optimize those images. When you have a graphic designer or an expert, someone who's using Photoshop, or you're using those drag and drop systems and you're taking your own photos, but you're using Wix or Squarespace or something where you take the photo and you upload it. Well, those platforms aren't optimizing the images for you. So you have to introduce an extra step, something where you can go into Photoshop and actually export for web. It's ironic that a lot of web designers and graphic designers don't do this. They don't, for some reason, think about the load times. They just look at the visual quality of it, but the load time will determine whether or not people even see these great photos that you've been taking or putting on your website. I hope this helps. I'm your Santa Barbara web guy, and I'll see you next time. Take care.